Hello my yarny friends, I'm Sara Sach and welcome to my crochet channel, or welcome back. Now today's video is Friday Fun video. It's pre-recorded so it would be ready for you on Friday, which is your Friday today. And what we're doing today is making a Ruffle coaster. And these coasters are a great way to use up your leftover cottons. And you can even make them out of acrylic if you're not going to put a cup that's going to sweat. Like this coffee cup, it's not going to sweat. And so if you wanted to make it out of acrylic just to protect the surface, that's totally fine too. And we'll talk more about yarns in just a minute. These coasters fit your basic coffee cups. They also fit your basic wine cups, or wine glass I should say. And you can do lots of fun, different colors with them. It's a super simple pattern. You can do it all with one color, like this is all done in one variegated yarn. You can do two colors, like this red and green one is done in two colors. Or you could do three colors, like this one. It's got a bright in the middle with two bright colors. You can use solids, variegateds, and just mix and match and have fun going through your cotton or acrylic yarn stash. Another really fun thing about these coasters is you can turn this coaster into a lovely flower. Just bend it in half and roll it. Makes a nice gift. Now, if you want it to stay rolled, you can just tack it down with a needle and matching yarn right there, and it makes a nice rose. You could add a couple of them for a nice effect. So each one of these coasters from ruffle to ruffle measures about 4.5 inches. So it's very versatile. Like I said, it fits your coffee cups, your wine glasses, or even a regular iced tea glass. And what you need is approximately a small amount of yarn. It takes very little yarn, and I'm going to be using these three colors. I'm going to do the main portion of my coaster in this variegated, and then I'm going to use the teal and the pink to make two rows. And I'm going to be using three colors just so that you can see what I'm doing. All right, this isn't even probably a half of ounce of each color. Very little amount of yarn. You can mix and match and have a lot of fun in your yarn stash. And remember, if you're going to make these for glasses that are going to sweat, you really want to use cotton yarn so it absorbs that water off the outside of your glass. If you're just making them to protect your surface, you're not worried about sweat on glasses, maybe they're just for coffee cups, you can use acrylic, but all the yarn needs to be medium weight number 4 yarn, okay? Be sure and not mix and match on your coaster. Don't do the body in acrylic and then the ruffles in cotton, because when you go to wash these, cotton and acrylic wash up a little bit different. And just a note on washing them, when I wash my cotton items, I throw them in with my kitchen towels if they're kitchen things. If they're bath towels or bath washcloths, I throw them in with my whites. But either way, you can wash them with your towel or your whites, depending, of course, on the colors, because some colors like red or maybe dark blue might bleed. But you can eliminate that dye bleeding by adding a little dab, maybe even a teaspoon of white vinegar. Okay? I know, that's a lot of information. We're going to stitch today with our H hook, which is a 5.0 millimeter crochet hook. And then you just need a needle to weave in ends and a pair of scissors. All right, let's get started. We're going to begin with our knot, and we're going to chain 5. Put the tail of yarn over your hook and pull it through. We'll snug that down and tie a stay knot. Now, if you prefer to use another method for making your ring, you certainly can. Now we're going to go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, and chain 3. The chain 3 counts as our first double crochet. Now we're going to stitch 9 more, so we have a total of 10 double crochets. Yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through the first 2 loops, yarn over and go through the second 2 loops. That's our double crochet. All right, let me see how many I've stitched. Here's my chain 3, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I need 1 more. There's 10. You'll also notice I stitched over that tail of yarn. That's going to make it so we can close that hole up. All right, let's go ahead and join to our chain 3. Chain 3. And I like to pull that loop a little bit big because I'm going to turn this over. I'm going to gently pull on that tail of yarn. I'm going to put my needle on my thread and weave this in because we don't want a hole in the center of our fun little ruffle coaster. I just go back and forth a couple of times, give it a nice good pull, and cut that off. All right, so now I don't have a hole in the center of my coaster. And for round 1, we have 10 double crochets, joined to the chain 3, and chain 3. All right, we're ready for round 2. On round 2, our chain 3 counts as our first double crochet. We're going to double crochet in that same stitch as our chain 3, and then we're going to go right to that next double crochet and stitch 2 double crochets, 1 and 2. Now we're going to stitch 2 double crochets in each of those double crochets around. On row 1 we had 10 double crochets. On row 2, we'll have 20 because we stitched 1 in the same chain or the same stitch as our chain 3, and then we're stitching 2 in each of our double crochets around, and then we'll join back to our chain 3 and have 20 double crochets. I have 20 double crochets for round 2. We're going to join to the chain 3 with a slip stitch, and again chain 3. And round 3 is pretty much like round 2. We just have more stitches. So we'll double crochet in the same stitch as our chain 3. And then again, stitch 2 double crochets in each of our double crochets around. And by doing it this way, adding so many at once, you get a nice flat coaster. So we went from 10 double crochets to 20. And so on row 3, we're going to have 40 double crochets. 2 double crochets in each. Two double crochets in each of those 20 double crochets around, and then we'll join back to our chain 3. I have completed round 3. I have 40 double crochets. We're going to join to the chain 3 with a slip stitch. Only this time, if you're changing colors, don't chain 1 yet. If you're not changing colors, go ahead and chain 1. I'm going to cut my yarn. So now I'm going to bring in my next color. And we'll go ahead and chain 1. Now we're going to start that ruffle edge. We just want to make sure everything's snug down. We're going to go right in this first stitch and stitch a single crochet. And then chain 3. 1, 2, 3. We're going to skip the next stitch and single crochet in the next. And chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Skip the next double crochet and single crochet in the next. 1, 2, 3. chain 3, skip 1, single crochet in the next. And we'll repeat this, working all the way around the edge of our coaster. 2, 3, skip 1, single crochet in the next. All right, we'll repeat this, working all the way around and join back to that first single crochet. So we're single crochet, chain 3, skip 1, single crochet in the next. So I have repeated this all the way around, single crochet, chain 3, skip 1, single crochet in the next. Here's my last stitch, and remember this one down here is not your last stitch. That's just a loop stitch that we made when we brought in our next color. All right, so we're going to go to that first single crochet and slip stitch. And now we're going to cut that yarn. Now, if you're not changing colors, don't cut your yarn here, okay? I'm going to bring in a third color, this pink. I think it'll go well with this. Kind of has a birthday feel to it. All right, so we'll bring in our next color, snug that down. And now we're going to go to behind and go to that stitch where we skipped it and stitch a single crochet and chain 3. All right, so now we'll go to the next single crochet that we skipped and single crochet and chain 3. Now if you're having a little bit of trouble finding those skipped stitches, you can push that ruffle forward and that will show you where you've skipped your stitches. So there's my chain 3, here's where I stitched, here's my skipped stitch, and I'll single crochet there. Because we're doing a double layer here just to give it a little bit of fun. And it also makes it pretty if you want to make it into those little flowers. To me they kind of look like roses. And I think it's a great way to give it as a gift, just for fun. So we're still doing our single crochet, chain 3, skip the next stitch, and single crochet in the next. We're just doing it behind and using those skipped stitches. And it gives it a really nice little ruffle effect. And when it's done, that's how it's going to look. Isn't that cute? I just love it. All right, I'm going to keep going with mine. You keep going with yours, and we'll meet back over here at the join. So I've worked round, or row 4 around. You can see from behind how that looks and how it looks on the front. And you'll see little peaks of the color in here where it's peeking through, and it just gives it just such a fun effect. All right, so here's my last chain 3. There's where I did my last single crochet. So we're going to come over here and join to that first single crochet from the back. It might be a little bit snug because, you know, we snugged it down. Let me get my hook in there. There we go. And we'll just pull that through and clip our yarn. All right, isn't that cute? Now we need to turn this over and weave these ends in. The more color changes you have, the more you'll have to weave in. All right, so before we do that, I just want you to see, I'm going to tuck those under so you can see how this looks, and you can give it a 3D appearance by pushing up that first layer of loops. Isn't that cute? I just absolutely love it. So we're all tidied up now. It looks nice and cute. It's ready for a glass or a coffee cup. Super cute. Okay, and one thing you can do, let me grab my container here. You can put a container like this or a basket at the door and fill it with all these different colors and styles of all the coasters that you made. When your guests come in, you can hand them their own glass or their own coffee cup, and then they can pick their own coaster. Then they use that coaster all evening or all day or all the time at your party, whether it's a brunch or an evening party. And then when the party's over, they take this home as a wonderful party favor, and then they can remember what a great time they had at your get-together.